You will own nothing and be happy. The Great Reset is on its way, and Klaus Schwab is looking for world domination. Or is he really? Or is this just another internet conspiracy bogus story? Let's dig a little deeper in today's episode. The Great Reset is basically the name of an initiative taken by the World Economic Forum in response to the COVID pandemic. In light of the disastrous economic repercussions of the pandemic, it urges a reassessment of global investment and government expenditure in order to revitalize the international economy through fairer outcomes. There are three primary tenets of the Great Reset plan. The first option would encourage more equitable market results. Governments can help by coordinating their efforts in areas like tax, regulatory, and fiscal policy, enhancing existing trade agreements, and laying the groundwork for a stakeholder economy. Governments have strong incentives to seek such action during times of shrinking revenue bases and rising public debt. Furthermore, governments should carry out overdue charges to create more equitable results. They can range from the new regulations on intellectual property, trade, and competition to a shift in the wealth tax. Second, a Great Reset plan should make sure that money is being put towards things like equality and sustainability. This is a crucial area where the massive government expenditure projects currently being undertaken by several countries might pave the way for significant improvement. For example, the European Commission has proposed a $826 billion recovery fund with an initial budget of 750 billion euros. The United States, China, and Japan all have significant plans to stimulate their economies. These resources, along with contributions from private entities and pension funds, should be used to build a new system that is more robust, equitable, and sustainable than the current one. This includes measures like creating incentives for enterprises to improve their track record on environmental ESG metrics and developing green urban infrastructure. Third on the Great Reset agenda is using the technological advances of the Fourth Industrial Revolution to improve society as a whole, particularly in terms of health and social issues. Companies, universities, and other institutions have collaborated to research diagnostics, medicines, and probable vaccinations, set up testing centers, build ways for tracing infections, and provide telemedicine during the COVID-19 outbreak. If everyone made the same concentrated effort, just think of what we could accomplish. All of these sound like notable initiatives, don't they? Well, why is controversy stirring about them? So, how did the controversy begin? Well, it started immediately after the World Economic Forum announced this initiative. Theorists who believe in the Great Reset conspiracy pointed to this news as evidence that world leaders intend to utilize the coronavirus to restructure the world's economies and societies in their favor at the expense of the general populace and bring about totalitarian world government. Catholic Archbishop Carlo Maria Vigano wrote the following in an open letter to President Trump in October 2020. This letter has since become a central tenet of the Great Reset conspiracy. He wrote, "The Great Reset is an ongoing initiative on a global scale. A global elite with ambitions to enslave all people designed it, and its coercive methods would severely restrict personal and collective liberties. This strategy has been authorized and funded in certain countries while it is still in its infancy in others. Insidious figures fund the World Economic Forum and Event 201 to spread their message, hiding behind the world leaders who are the collaborators and executors of this hellish enterprise." But the problem here is that the man who wrote this letter spent the last several years involved in a series of controversies that included things like sex abuse allegations. So if you are trusting a man like this, then you might want to reconsider your life decisions. Nearly 80,000 tweets were sent out on November 16, 2020, about the Great Reset, many of which included a video of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau speaking at a United Nations video conference in September, in which he said that the pandemic presents an opportunity for a reset. Furthermore, he uses the phrase, "building back better," which conspiracy theorists have linked to Vice President Joe Biden's campaign slogan, "Build Back Better," as proof that the two men are working together. Even if there was less conversation about the Great Reset on Twitter by late December, the phrase was still mentioned in 1,000 or more posts every day. Now, what are some of the key elements of the controversy? Many people who believe in this conspiracy see this project as a part of a larger scheme to overthrow capitalism and establish a global government in the name of COVID-19. According to The Guardian's breakdown of the Great Reset plot, its central tenet is that the global elite is using COVID-19 as an opportunity to roll out radical reforms such as mandatory vaccination, digital ID cards, and the renunciation of private property. After starting off as a fringe notion only found in the far reaches of the internet, by November 2020, this theory had grown into its own ecosystem of deception, thanks in large part to the amplification provided by prominent right-wing media characters in the United States like Ben Shapiro and Tucker Carlson. Both have taken ideas from the Great Reset notion and used them to support their claims of a conspiracy to undermine individual rights and the capitalist system. The Anti-Defamation League has also documented anti-Semitic tropes associated with this conspiracy, such as claims that Jews are exploiting the Great Reset to establish a one-world government by controlling the WEF. So, what do you guys think? In our opinion, the people who flame such conspiracies are some of the most ignorant of the lot. They are the people who have the most to lose in such scenarios, and instead of seeing a better tomorrow, they are ready to maintain the status quo for their own ulterior motives. Take the Vatican representative, for example. The dude has multiple sexual abuse lawsuits against him, and he still has the audacity to speak against such a noble endeavor. If you still don't believe us, then let us tackle the 3 pillars of the Great Reset and let's look at them more objectively. So, the first was equity markets. You have to ask, what is wrong with that? Is it so bad to make sure that markets work well and that no one is being ripped off and that people respect the present trade agreements? The only thing wrong we see with this is that the middlemen who are making money by manipulating the markets to their whims stand to lose money. These are exactly the same people who have spoken against the initiative by the World Economic Forum. The second tenet says that money should be put towards noble causes like equality and sustainability. Once again, a noble cause. We are living in a time where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. This is the time to set that straight. Finally, climate change concerns were an important part of the agenda. Let us tell you this, climate change is a very real phenomenon. You have heard about the recent floods in Southeast Asia? Okay, maybe that is a little too far for people to care. What about the heat waves felt all over the West? This wasn't just a one-off phenomenon. It is going to get worse, and believe us when we say that no one is going to be safe. Now coming to the COVID-19 response. The sheer ignorance that well-educated people displayed while this deadly disease tore through the world was shocking. There were protests against masks, getting vaccines, and whatnot. The only good thing that this pandemic did was show us the real faces of the people around us and even global leaders. One leader even went as far as to question if drinking bleach could work against COVID. Imagine that. The world is full of people like this, and they won't stop at nothing until their sheer ignorance, or rather dumbness, brings humanity to its knees. We know we got a little too aggressive here, but these things are infuriating. As humans, it is our responsibility to make the world a better place for the less fortunate. If we can't even do that, then yes, our civilizations deserve to crumble like the many that came before us. So, that's all the time we have for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed this video. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to remain updated about all our future videos. See you all next time.